Greetings, my friend. How are you doing this week? I hope it has been a wonderful week for you. I hope that there is something that maybe you've looked forward to doing this weekend. Anyways, I'm working, but the weekend's always a nice time. It's a time for new beginnings, as it were, kind of contemplating new beginnings as you enjoy the end of your hard work for this current week. So, thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron Cezuric, and this series is called Postures of Life. In Postures of Life, I try to explore the different yoga postures as well as how they connect to real life experiences. Sometimes in a very general sort of way, sometimes in a very specific sort of way. I try to interject my own experiences in relating to the movements that we go through in the mat. The reason why I do this, I try to be very careful and thorough as I can be in this kind of 15-minute slot, is that I wish to help myself as well as others realize that the postures that we perform on the yoga mat are actually kind of like microcosms for our life in general. As we move in different ways on the mat, as we experience different feelings, different things come up, maybe both positive and negative, we gain a perspective onto other experiences and situations in our lives and how we can hopefully adjust ourselves on the mat, in our movements on the mat, and in life to move to better overall health and happiness, that we're more sensitive to our bodies, our minds, and our emotional states, and we can actually learn to move in slightly different ways, both in the arenas of yoga, physical postures, yoga asanas, and activities in the real world. I always have trouble saying that, but this is the real world as well. The movements on the mat, it's just a much kind of gentler world if we allow it to be. So this is a good place to kind of train ourselves, to experiment with what helps us and what hinders us, and then go from there. And then, of course, it's not just a one-shot thing. We come back over and over again to learn and to adjust, coming back to the beginning, as it were, coming back to each breath, coming back to each physical posture in yoga to learn how we feel in those, and then translate that into the world as we experience it beyond the mat, in work, in domestic life, social life, through our relationships, through our different hobbies, activities, you name it. So, a little more about me. I am a 200-hour yoga registered trained yoga teacher from the yoga room in Niles, Girard area of Ohio. And I also teach there 5:30 to 6:30 on Mondays. And I teach at a rehab facility as well in Boardman and Rogers, Ohio. And I teach a little chair yoga in Warren, Ohio, near a church that I actually attend, St. John Paul II. So, thank you again so much for being here, for taking the time to stop by. I do hope this can enrich you and your life, and even a little way at the beginning, and then hopefully you can start to allow the teachings and practices to blossom in your life like they have done so in mine. And of course, take your time at your own pace. Don't feel that there's any particular thing you should or should not experience here today. It's all about your journey, discovering who you are. And that's how you'll find your overall health and happiness, not trying to conform to some other person's life, but living your own life fully and richly and deeply in a joyous manner. So please feel free to embrace yourself with joy, compassion, understanding, and love as we practice today and as you practice in life in general. Okay, so for the posture today and for the journey, as it were, this is a journey of patience and trust as we move into the present moment, the present, the present thing at hand, rather than being kind of trapped inside a idea of who we are or what things are around us, what reality is, what the world is, and what our role, our destiny is in life. Just to be open, to be in the present moment. And I talked about this a little bit in last week's episode of Postures of Life, moving into the present with Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose. And in that pose, we did move into the present. And it's good. It's good to move into the present, to experience that. But then, what do we do after that moment? Because it's only one moment, and there are many moments to come. So, again and again, it's good to get used to the idea of coming into the present moment, the place where our health, happiness, the real solutions to our problems, and the real goings on of both our inner world and the world around us is truly happening. So it does take some trust, some patience, perseverance, kind of like they call it tapas in yoga, which is burning zeal, practicing with enthusiasm, with a richness of life and a richness of spirit that persists against all adversity. As we are able to, of course, I'm not going to say that there are times when it's going to not be tough. There's times when it's very tough to me. But I try to keep this ideal in mind. I try to keep that movement going. And I invite you to do your best to do the same, to embrace yourself with compassion and understanding through the difficult circumstances that can arise, but to try your best to keep on going with that burning zeal, that tapas. So, moving into the present does require a bit of trust and patience. So, trust in the practice, trust in ourselves, trust that there is a good solution to all our problems, that life can be lovely and happy and peaceful if we allow it to be, that we can be at peace. And patience, because of course of what was just explained over and over again, we try anew when situations do prove difficult. And then there will be situations which aren't so difficult to help give us some motivation to keep on with our practice, with the tapas, the burning zeal for life. So for the pose that I would like to introduce is kind of a extended version, a full version of the pose last week. So that was Janu Sirsasana, and we basically folded forward, kind of folding over one of our legs, kind of exercising both, elongating, stretching our back, our kind of hip area that starts at our lower back, and our hamstrings on our legs. So this week we will be performing Paschimottanasana, and that is full forward fold, basically. So for this full forward fold, let me go ahead and introduce the movement to you. So the movement we can come to is by first coming onto our bottom, any manner that we find easiest to do so, and then straightening our legs out before us, like so. And once we have those legs out straight, today we'll just go ahead and breathe the arms up, and then trying to maintain a nice straight back and feel a hinging motion or action at our hips, folding forward, maintaining straight back, straight legs, coming down to our own degree. That could mean we touch the toes, or it could mean we come up higher onto our ankles or even higher. So don't worry about where you go to. Just know that through practice and regularity, not just will your body become more flexible, but the mind will adjust as well. The mind will become more flexible. The spirit will become more liberated. And you'll find more joy and openness in your life as the mind and body become more open as well. So, I do wish to offer an affirmation here as it goes along with our movement in this pose and our movement in life as this little lesson goes, and I hope it can enrich you. And maybe it can be brought with you into other situations as well. I move into the present with trust and patience. I move into the present with trust and patience. I move into the present with trust and patience. And as you are ready to do so, go ahead and come out of that forward fold. And I will just I will just kind of go over maybe a little bit of what we have done in the past, because if we can use all these poses in a sequence, it might be quite beneficial to us. So moving into that first pose that I introduced, known as Balasana or Child's Pose, you can get onto all fours, however is easy for you to do so. Maybe I'll go ahead and move so that you see me at a side angle. This might prove useful for some, and maybe next week I'll move through at the different angle when we do the other pose. So for Balasana on all fours, I basically allow my knees to come out a bit, toes to join in the back, and I sort of recline back onto my heels, like so, stretching the arms out if this is comfortable in the shoulders, or bringing them beside the body and resting the forehead on the floor. So if you want here, you can also begin to introduce affirmations, much like a child, much like an innocent child, kind of coming into the world anew, and to be able to relax and be at ease in this world, much like a child. I introduce the affirmation: I rest in trust and patience. I rest in trust and patience. I rest in trust and patience. And then when you're ready to do so, coming back onto that all fours like position with a nice neutral spine, we'll move into a few poses known as cat and cow that are very good at releasing the back. So it's a good warm-up for the back for all our other postures that will come afterwards. So to move into cow, we'll go ahead and take a breath in. Back becomes concave, we look forward. And then as we exhale, our back arches upward and we look downward. And then when you're ready, come back to that nice neutral spine. You can, of course, go through those movements as many times as you feel that you would like. And then the next movement we'll go through is known as Paschimottanasana, side child's pose, or just, I guess, kind of an all fours twist, you can also call it. So, taking a hand up like so, I start with my right hand and then I scoop it under my torso, moving to the left and resting my right ear on the ground, gazes to the left, easy breath in, easy breath out. If you would like, you might reaffirm that affirmation we started with. I rest in trust and patience. I rest in trust and patience. And when you are ready, coming back into that all fours position, and all yoga postures that tend to isolate one side, it's always a good idea to balance that out by moving into the other side. So taking that left hand up and then scooping it under the torso, gazing to the right side. Easy breath in, easy breath out. I rest and trust and patience. I rest and trust and patience. And when you're ready to do so, coming up to that nice neutral all fours position. And from here, we will just go ahead and find our bottom, however is easiest for us to do so. And once we are here, we'll go ahead and move into we'll go ahead and actually move into easy seated twist first. So to get into easy seated twist, we'll go ahead and bend that left leg. Okay, bring that sole into the inner right thigh, and then we'll breathe the arms up. And then as we exhale, we'll twist to our left, right hand on left knee, and left arm behind us. As we are here, I offer the affirmation, I leave the past behind me. I leave the past behind me. And when we are ready to do so, go ahead and kind of untwist and come back forward, and then breathe those arms up once again, and exhale, hinging at the hips, folding forward, trying to maintain a nice straight back. Here I introduce the affirmation, I move into the present, I move into the present, I move into the present. And when we're ready, coming back up to a nice straight neutral spine, we'll go ahead and allow the left foot to meet the right foot, okay, and bending that right leg, bringing that sole into the inner thigh. Breathe the arms up once again. And then as we exhale, we'll twist to our right and allow our hands to come down. Left hand, right knee, right arm behind us. Kind of straight down to the ground. Easy breath in, easy breath out. I leave the past behind me. I leave the past behind me. And when we are ready to do so, untwisting, coming forward once again, and breathing the arms up, framing the head, exhaling, hinging at the hips, folding forward. To our degree, easy breath in, easy breath out. I move into the present, I move into the present. Every once in a while, it can be nice to just take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. And then when you're ready, go ahead and rise that neutral spine. And then, of course, for our final movement for today, there will be more to come. And I hope you tune in for them. The final movement for today, though, is Paschimottanasana, full forward fold. So breathing the arms up, trying to maintain a nice neutral spine, and hinging at the hips, and exhaling perhaps as we fold forward to our own degree. Remember to move into this with trust and patience, not trying to rush the movement or really any of the movements, not just on the yoga mat, but in life in general. Just move in at your own pace. Try to move into different situations with trust and understanding of who you are as well as who the others are that may be involved. So I move into the present with trust and patience, moving into the present with trust and patience, being persistent on the direction my life is headed, trying to see what is actually present and before me, not getting wrapped up in the past or some anxieties or worries of futures to come, situations to come, but just allowing myself to see what is here and now and having trust in the process, in the practice of doing so, and patience coming back again over and over again, and relaxing in the fact that there is a next breath, moment to moment. There is an opportunity to start again. If things don't turn out quite the way we think they should, we can always start again. We can always adjust our perspective and learn new ways to live life, new solutions that we hadn't seen before. If only we can come back to that present moment where the opportunities present themselves. Very good. And when you're ready, coming up to that nice neutral spine. I wonder where Kitty went. He tried to come on my lap so many times. I'm sorry, Kitty. And I'm glad you stopped by. But I guess you've had enough. He probably went on the heater in the bathroom. He loves that heater. He just loves heat. Loves heat so much. It's kind of like tapas, that burning zeal. In a way, all fire, all heat is related, whether it is the heat of practice or the physical heat of reality, of fire, of a furnace, of a match, of a light. And think of all the beautiful things light shines on the world, bringing us into the present moment again and again, helping to guide us to see what is before us. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Namaste. And I hope that you will join me again for all the episodes to come, or at least the next. So thank you so much again. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Namaste.